In this video, I'm going to share 10 activities to do with your 6 to 9 month old that are great for their development. They're also a ton of fun and they're really affordable, as most of them use common household items. For this first activity, all you need is a whisk and a few clean sponges. First, cut the sponges into rectangular shapes and slide them through the whisk, leaving a small part of each sponge sticking out. Then just give it to your baby and watch them shake it and start pulling out the sponges one by one. This process of reaching, grabbing and pulling out the sponges encourages your baby to use various hand movements and grips, and this is great for developing their fine motor skills. Next, we have 5 developmentally beneficial activities you can do with just a large container, bowl or tray. This first activity is really simple, but your baby is going to love it. And that's because babies at this age have figured out that they can use their hands to grab things and they want to touch absolutely everything. And that's what this game lets them do. Just grab some baby-safe items from around your house, and these should be large enough that they're not going to pose a choking hazard, but they need to be small enough that your baby can grasp it with one hand. Remember, at this age, babies are using their whole hand to pick up items, not their little fingers, so you want something large enough that they can pick up. So think about things like colourful blocks, soft toys, pegs, or even their spoons, and put these into a large container, bowl or tray, and let your baby explore. Your baby will have a blast picking up these items and checking them out. And this is a great way for them to practice using their hands and eyes together. It also helps them learn how to solve little challenges like grabbing a toy that they're curious about. As your baby's fine motor skills advance and they get better at controlling their hand movements, which usually happens at around 9 months of age and older, you can make this game more interesting and a little bit harder. And you do that by putting all the toys into the container and then use sticky tape to create rows. Then you give it to your baby, and now to remove these toys, your baby will have to carefully maneuver their hands between the tape to get the toys out. This means that they will actually need to use more precise hand movements, further refining their fine motor skills. Now, if your little one's finding that too easy, you can add yet another level of challenge by getting the tape again, and this time making some squares. Now, you want to make sure that those squares are just big enough for your little one's hand to fit through to reach the toys inside. And when you give this to your little one, this will encourage them to use even finer hand movements to get inside and reach those toys. In addition to picking up anything within reach, when your baby's around 8 to 9 months of age, they will also be able to purposely drop things into a container. So you can switch up this game by placing the toys next to the container and then encouraging your baby to pick up each toy and drop them into that container. This helps to develop their ability to drop an object on demand and with accuracy, which is a skill that they've only recently developed and need to refine through lots and lots of practice. This next activity involves a bit of water, so you might want to move it outside. Just pour some water into the container or tray and toss in a variety of objects that either float or sink, such as a sponge, balls, pegs, or small toys. Remembering though that those toys shouldn't be small enough that they're a choking hazard. Then keep an eye on your baby as they play and explore. Your baby will love to reach out and grab those items, particularly the ones that are floating on the surface. And this is great for practicing their hand-eye coordination as they need to catch those moving toys. This also gives them a chance to explore objects of various sizes and shapes, further improving their fine motor skills. And when they reach out, whether they're lying on their stomach or sitting up, they're getting gross motor benefits. Next up, we have an activity that's perfect for making tummy time more fun and motivating your baby to start moving. First, take an empty cylindrical bottle and half fill it with anything that is firm and fits through the neck of the bottle. For example, you could use rice, pasta, seeds, or in my case, colourful gems. After half filling it, you want to ensure that the top is tightly sealed by gluing it in place or wrapping sticky tape around it. Then it's playtime. Simply place the bottle in front of your baby while they're on their tummy. The colourful contents and the rattling sound will catch your baby's attention, encouraging them to reach out and explore. This not only makes tummy time more enjoyable, but also helps with their development. Each time they stretch out to touch the bottle, they're practicing shifting their weight to one side, which is a fundamental skill for achieving milestones like rolling over, crawling, and eventually walking. And if that bottle rolls to the side, it prompts your baby to use their arms to move towards it. And this is practicing a maneuver called pivoting. And it's key movement that comes before crawling. And should the bottle end up just out of reach, this is a fantastic incentive for your baby to start creeping forward or even attempting to crawl. Now, crawling is just one of the many exciting milestones your baby may achieve in their first year of life. So if you want to know when you might be expecting this, plus all the other exciting milestones, then click the link in the description below to get your free copy of my developmental milestone chart. This next activity is perfect for keeping your baby entertained while they're on their tummy or sitting up. All you need is a big empty cardboard box or a laundry basket and some colourful ribbons. And the first thing you want to do is cut the ribbons long enough so that they can hang over the sides of the cardboard box or the laundry basket. If you're using a laundry basket, you want to simply tape the ribbons to the top. And if you're using a cardboard box, you could tape it across the top, or you could poke some holes along the top edge and then thread those ribbons through, ensuring that you tie a knot on the end to stop them from falling out. Then you just put this new toy in front of your little one to play with. And just a quick tip to stop the cardboard box from falling over, or the laundry basket, just put something heavy towards the back, like a bag of rice or a big sweet potato. If your baby's lying on their tummy, the dangling ribbons will catch their eye and encourage them to raise their head and their chest. And if they are able to, they will actually reach out and touch the ribbons, and that means they'll need to lean to one side. This is great for building strength in their neck, back and arm muscles, and it also helps your baby practice shifting their weight from side to side. Now, as your little one gets more mobile when they're lying on their tummy, you can always hide toys behind the ribbons, as this will encourage them to pivot or creep or crawl forward to actually grab those toys. Now, if your little one's sitting up while they're playing with your new creation, each time they lean forward to touch or grab the ribbons, they're strengthening the muscles around their belly and their back, and these muscles are necessary for them to sit up by themselves. This playful reaching and grabbing also helps with muscle coordination and control, laying the foundation for bigger movements they'll learn later on, like crawling and walking. Another thing your baby is going to love to do is bang things together and make a lot of noise. And that's exactly what this next activity is all about. Just grab a kitchen pot and a wooden spoon, or even one of your baby's feeding spoons, and then turn that pot upside down and give the spoon to your baby. Then sit back and watch them create their own special kind of music. Now, although this activity is noisy, it's an excellent opportunity for your baby to sharpen their fine motor skills. They'll explore various grips on the spoon, learn how to switch the spoon from one hand to the other, and coordinate their arms and hands to accurately strike the pot. Moreover, if they begin to sway or move to their new rhythm, they'll also be enhancing their gross motor skills, especially their ability to balance while sitting and moving. This next activity is a playful way to help your baby get better at sitting up. First, find some lightweight toys that your baby can easily grab with one hand, such as a plastic ball, rings, or blocks. Next, get some sticky tape to make loops, and then stick one end of the loop to a toy, and then stick that toy to something upright like a wall or a fridge. Now, you want to make sure that the position of these toys is going to be lower than your baby's shoulders when they're sitting up. Because if you stick the toys above your baby's shoulder height, they're going to need to make larger postural adjustments to grab that toy. And this might be a little bit too challenging for them at this point and cause them to lose their balance and topple over. Next, you want to sit your baby close enough to these toys so that they can grab them without having to lean forward at their trunk. If they actually need to lean forward, then you need to scoot them a little bit closer. And then let your baby have a go at pulling the toys off. As they reach forward and play with these toys, they're making very small postural adjustments to remain seated. And this is great for improving their balance, muscle strength, and coordination. Once your baby's mastered this game, you can make it a little bit more of a challenge by doing one of the following. You could move your baby a little further away from the toys so they actually need to lean forward to grab them, or you could stick the toys on the floor but slightly beyond their reach. When you do either of these options, your baby will need to lean forward to grab the toys and then back to sit back up. And each time they reach out for that toy, they're moving out of their center of gravity, which means they have to use their big body muscles to stay upright and not fall over. And as they sit back up, they're learning how to control their movements and balance, which is great for their gross motor development. Oh, one thing that I will mention is there are going to be times where your baby struggles a little bit. Maybe the bottle rolls just out of reach, or they're struggling to get the toy out of that tray. In these situations, your natural reaction is probably going to be to jump in and help. But helping in this case isn't actually helpful. In this video, you'll learn why helping your baby is not the best approach and what you should do instead. What this is going to do is help build on the developmental benefits that your little one is going to get from these activities. So make sure you go and watch that one next to make the most out of what you've just learned.